This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. As U.S. oil rises toward $100 a barrel, producers in some high-cost shale basins are buying properties and adding rigs and frac crews in places that fell silent when prices crashed early in the pandemic 2 years ago. Benchmark U.S. prices last week topped $93 a barrel, up around 65% in the last 52 weeks and the highest since 2014. U.S. producers are cranking up spending at double-digit rates as fuel demand has soared and fears have waned that OPEC will again punish them by flooding the market with crude that is cheaper to produce. Some executives say current high prices and relatively low service costs make production economics the best in years.
The United States and the European Union pledged on Monday to work to ensure gas supplies can respond to disruptions in pipeline gas flows, as tensions rise over the massing of troops on Ukraine's borders by Russia, Europe's biggest gas supplier. We're working together right now to protect Europe's energy supply against supply shocks, including those that could result from further Russian aggression against Ukraine, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told reporters in Washington, alongside Josep Borrell, the EU foreign policy chief. Europe's dependence on Russian gas has come under scrutiny in recent months as lower than expected supply from Russia and rising tensions over Moscow's buildup of more than 100,000 troops on its borders with Ukraine have helped to push prices to record highs.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
British households could face a further increase in energy prices when a price cap is updated again in October, especially if there is a Russia-Ukraine conflict, the chief executive of energy regulator Ofgem said on Tuesday. Ofgem said last week the price cap, protecting some 22 million households, would rise by 54% from April 1 due to an unprecedented rise in wholesale gas prices over the past year. If Russia invades Ukraine, that would drive high gas prices and ultimately feed through to customers, Ofgem chief executive Jonathan Burley told a cross-party group of British lawmakers.
Investors have become very bullish about the outlook for gasoline and diesel prices, accumulating some of the largest positions in both fuels for a decade as economies begin their recovery from the coronavirus crisis. Hedge funds and other money managers purchased the equivalent of 16 million barrels in the 6 most important petroleum-related futures and options contracts in the week to February 1, exchange and regulatory data shows. Portfolio investors have been buyers in 6 of the most recent 7 weeks, and last week's purchases reversed a roughly similar volume of profit-taking the previous week.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
An EU-funded certification scheme using blockchain is being developed for rare earths as automakers demand proof that materials used to make magnets for electric vehicles, EVs, are not linked to toxic pollution. The system will set global standards and give confidence to consumers demanding sustainable products, 2 of the organizers told Reuters ahead of an official announcement on Tuesday. The circular system for assessing rare earth sustainability is due to be ready in about 3 years, the Rare Earth Industry Association, REIA, and Dutch supply chain traceability firm Circularise said.
Aluminium production in the southwest Chinese city of Baise, which has gone into lockdown after recent COVID-19 outbreaks, remains stable though transportation disruptions are starting to weigh, the local industry association said on Tuesday. The city on China's border with Vietnam in the Guangxi region has an annual aluminium production capacity of nearly 2.2 million tons, or some 5% of China's total. It also possesses around 9.6 million tons of alumina capacity. Baise has confirmed more than 100 locally infected COVID-19 cases in February and went into lockdown on February 7. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. India's attempts to lower edible oil prices ahead of important state elections have been ruined by a spike in global palm oil prices to record highs after Indonesia, the world's biggest supplier, moved to restrict exports. Mindful of an electorate that is highly sensitive to food price inflation, India's government tried to rein in domestic prices by reducing import taxes, imposing stockpile limits and suspending futures trading in edible oils and oilseeds. But as India imports 2/3 of its edible oils, The benefits of the duty cut and other measures have been virtually erased by the surge in global prices after Indonesia ordered producers to sell 20% of their sales to the domestic market to cool local cooking oil prices.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.